The Hawk was filmed in part at the BBC's Warehouse Studios in Bristol. A few years ago, I suppose, it would have been made at Ealing Studios, which the Beeb acquired in the 1950s, to the great dismay of those of us who remembered Ealing as the source of many of the best British films ever made, the celebrated comedies among them. Well, now the place has changed hands again, and though the BBC still rents space there, the new owners have ambitious plans to restore Ealing to what it was in its glory days, the very bastion of the British film industry.
Ealing was a small studio that had people working closely together. And what we have is the same site. It hasn't changed since it was built. What we have the opportunity to do is create a new studio for the 90s.
What we're trying to do at Ealing is to create a community, a film community, a focal point for the British film industry.
Ealing Studios Productions plc is an opportunity for the public to invest in a range of British projects which the company will develop under the business expansion scheme. And under that scheme, the investor gets the tax back on the investment that has been made once the scheme has been formally approved.
Ealing's past history it stands for quality and a quintessential British way of doing things. And that's what we hope to see, trying to emulate it.
Ealing was the last studio to make its own pictures. The other bigger studios made some marvellous pictures, of course, but they were made usually by separate organisations, separate companies, whereas Ealing made Ealing films.
Well, here we are on stage one, I think. It's got a no smoking sign, which we never took any notice of. It all looks exactly the same to me. You know, one feels, oh, I wish I was making a picture here.
Action, Aubrey. Eyes open, looking around, somebody's going to hit you any minute, rigid with fear, eyes flicking from side to side, watching for somebody to come in, eyes flicking.
I think we were enjoying ourselves mainly, making pictures, we were all people who had wanted, from the word go, to make pictures.
I mean, it was a period of hope, growth, belief, and I think to some extent the Ealing pictures express this.
Mr. Fisher will be sitting here. The van will stop in front of him at 4:30. A minute later, the guard will appear around this corner and you, Pendlebury, will detain him for at least half a minute. Ask him for a light, ask him the way, ask him anything, but keep him there. We must have those 30 seconds.
Edgar.
I beg your pardon?
Isn't one supposed to say that when one's being briefed on my rare visits to the cinema?
The word is Roger.
We would like to develop 10 films a year that go into production, and which I think would be a major contribution to the British filmmaking. But we wouldn't like to feel that we had the burden of the British film industry on our shoulders. All we want to do is make films that the public want to go and see.
It's very difficult to tell young people how to proceed. The simplest way, I think, is to tell them to do what they bloody well want to do and not listen to anybody who says it will be commercial if you do this, it'll be commercial if you do that.
Well, I think they should take as a motto, we are not into nostalgia, we're into renewal, because that's what the British film industry could do with as a shot in the arm. If it could operate from Ealing Studios and inherit the kind of feeling that we had, which was a belief in our national culture in film, not somebody else's, as a sort of general guiding spirit, that would be great.
So a phoenix arising there, that would be nice. One link with the old Ealing was sadly lost at the weekend with the death at 74 of that splendid comedy actor Kenneth. He was probably best known for his roles in the Carry On films, but one of his earliest breaks was a small part in Ealing's The Lady Killers in 1955.